Let's talk about Japan. I've never once traveled outside the United States. It's never really been a thing on my mind to go traveling outside of the country. And usually my means of travel would happen because my family would get together to have holidays together or special events would occur. But never once have I gotten on a plane and flown to another country before. That was until one of my friends, Keegan, came up to me and asked if I wanted to go to Japan. He had gone there to visit another friend, Denver, who had lived in Japan for a few years and wanted to go back. After discussing it with my friends Denver, Keegan, and John, who also has never gone to Japan before, we all decided that we would stay 2 weeks in Japan together. This video is mostly going to be about the things I got to do in Japan, while also having a bunch of videos and photos I had collected throughout the whole entire trip, and what my friends had gathered throughout the trip as well. Our first plan was to land in Tokyo and stay for 4 days. To get there, we would take a 12-hour flight directly from Chicago to Tokyo. And for my first ever international flight, it wasn't very comfortable. It might not have helped that we drove 6 hours and I didn't really get any sleep before the drive, but I couldn't get any good rest throughout the flight either. Thankfully, the flight wasn't too bad. The seats came with little computers to watch movies, check the flight path, and also play games like Tetris. I got the high score in Tetris here on the flight. Woohoo! Once we landed, we took a few trains over to our first Airbnb, and the Airbnb was amazing. It had plenty of space, nice decorations, and it had a second floor with a bed that I would call home for the next few days. After we took some time to settle in, we hit the town to check out the local areas to first get some yen and then get some food. As we were walking around the area, we landed at this one place that had Wagyu burgers. And me being a huge lover of hamburgers, especially Wagyu burgers, the burger was pretty good. It wasn't the best burger I'd had, but it did satisfy my needs for a good Wagyu burger. And after finishing our meals, we decided to head back to the Airbnb to prepare for our next day, right after a few snacks.
So we just got back not too long ago about getting some last minute kind of snacks, getting some food and whatnot. And so we are chilling with a Coca-Cola Plus. My friend recommended this little alcohol drink here. I'm going to be trying that later on tonight. I found some of these Pokemon gummies here, which looked pretty interesting. I'm kind of excited to try these out. And also some fruity candies. We literally just got here today, so we haven't really gotten to do a whole lot just yet, but we're excited to actually start planning on doing things tomorrow. But first, we're going to rest on up and prepare for tomorrow's adventures. See you tomorrow.
For our first day in Tokyo, we decided to head to a location called Akihabara, a location that's well known for a lot of anime merch, games, and many other nerdy things. When we got to Akihabara, we stopped into this huge building with a variety of stores where I would first find this Piplup coin for all my yen, and got this cool Legend of Zelda gachapon, my first gacha in Japan. After finishing up on the first floor of the building, me and John went up to the second floor, and on that floor was a figurine shop with so many amazing figurines from so many of my favorite franchises, like Persona, Final Fantasy, One Punch Man, and even Monster Hunter figurines. I didn't know that Monster Hunter had so many figurines. After purchasing a few figurines, John and I had headed up to the third floor. This is probably a good time to mention that the 2 people who have never been in Japan before had lost the 2 people who had been in Japan on our first full day. Hoping that they were still in the building, we continued heading up and ran into a few trading card shops selling Hatsune Miku stuff, more gachapons that I almost went for, some adorable Naruto Hello Kitty designs, Final Fantasy merch, and Sonic stuff! Oh boy, it's Sonic stuff! There was also some pretty cool Kingdom Hearts stuff there too. Woo! After a few more floors, and a few extra bags snagged to my wrist, we still couldn't find Keegan and Denver. It's around this time that me and John had found out that Denver and Keegan had left the building and were exploring other places in Akihabara. So, without us knowing where they were, We had decided that we would continue up to the final floors of the building, where we would find a video game store, and then finally hit the streets of Akihabara once again. After walking the streets for a few minutes, John and I had walked into our first arcade in Japan. It was primarily a claw machine arcade, but we did want to try a few of them out. Sadly, I couldn't win anything from there.
Not today, both pegs. Not today.
It was around this time where I was starting to get hungry, and as we were walking down the streets, we had passed by a maid cafe. After taking a few minutes to decide on if we wanted to go there, and also having to hit up another ATM, we decided to go into the maid cafe. Now, I didn't get a lot of video of this place as I wasn't really sure if I could get a lot of videos of the cafe, but I will tell you guys that John and I were really nervous being there. Maid cafes aren't the kind of place that you just go out and about naturally in the States, so it was a little embarrassing to kind of go, but it was a unique experience still at the most. And so we ordered our food, got to watch one of the maids do a live dance show, and I got to take a photo with the girl who served me food. After our time in the maid cafe, me and John had finally met up with the guys and were planning on where we would want to go next. The guys were planning on heading up to another place outside of Akihabara, and for me, I wanted to check out this place called Joyopolis, where I had heard that there was some Sonic merch there. After discussing our plans together, and yes, literally day one of us being in Japan and me not knowing what I was doing fully, I decided to go to Joyopolis on my own.
So I am on my own right now when it comes to the group. We second day in Japan, and now that I got internet and a plan, I know what I'm doing, and so I'm hopefully going to get this figured out proper.
What if I took the wrong train to where I'm going? I went to the north one when I needed to go to the south one. So what if I'm back where I started, Akihabara?
Finally making it to Joyopolis, I was curious about what the place was about. It was advertised as this amusement area with a bunch of games and a bit of Sega merch. My goal at the time was to find more Sonic related stuff, and while I found a few awesome things like these pins, a few socks, and some cool shirts, I didn't find a whole lot of Sonic stuff that I was wanting to pick up, sadly. But what was really cool were these fun little games that were Sonic, Ace Attorney, House of the Dead, and many other video game franchise related stuff that were inside the building. I especially loved seeing this life-size Sonic statue, and I did spend a bunch of yen to get this Amy charm and a Leafeon plush from my buddy John. After my walk around Joyopolis, I was about to leave to go back to the station when I had stopped by the Baskin-Robbins and saw that they were doing a Mario collab with a special Mario ice cream and a few cups with Mario characters on it. So naturally, I got me a cup and tried it out for myself. After my little ice cream break, I hopped back onto the trains and finally headed back to the Airbnb.
So I did get a whole lot from Japan here, not gonna lie, so I'm still kind of going through this. I got a lot today. So right off the bat, we got 2B right here from the statue. We've got Kyrie from Melody of Memories. We've got a Sonic statue here, which was doing a cool little promo. A Titus Titus figurine from Final Fantasy X. This looks like the 10-2 version, so. A Rathian. Terra from Final Fantasy. A Garantina. A cup from Baskin-Robbins that does a Super Mario promo. A Chocobo. Metal Gear collectible here. Sonic pins. Miku pin here. Another gift for a friend. Miku magnet. 2 keyblades that are necklaces, which I think I'm going to combine these and wear this tomorrow. A nice little magnet of Akihabara Sonic pin. I think this is a Sonic sticker, but I could be wrong. I got me a new Moogle case for my glasses, which is nice because I can switch out my Spider-Man ones. Another gift for a friend, it's a Kakashi from Naruto. Another gift for a friend, this is Minato from Naruto. Got a Riku figurine finally. I got me posters of Tails, Amy, and maybe some more characters. I haven't opened this up properly. I think it's just the two. A glass plate of Kingdom Hearts as well. A little reminder of us going to the Maid Cafe, which is what the headband is. More stickers of Sonic. Stickers from the Baskin Robbins right here. I got me an official Pokemon Platinum Japanese edition, so that's never gonna get sealed. Oh, that's never gonna be opened. I just really, oh my gosh, dude, that's so cool. A little Gachapon link from Breath of the Wild. Couple of the same things with Amy here from the thing. I don't know if these are stickers. Another pin magnet thing, which is cool. Same here with Miku. I don't know what this is personally, but it's a nice little card here. Kingdom Hearts hard plates, a Silent Hill pin, a House of the Dead Scarlet Dawn CD track, and a Amy chain here that I got at a game machine. So yeah, that is my whole entire load, and it's all gonna try to fit in this one bag right here. I think we're gonna call it right there. I'll see you guys tomorrow.
The very next morning, we had started planning on heading to Akihabara. But before we started heading out, I decided to do a little fun thing to the guys. See, the location that we were staying at had an elevator that took us to the 8th floor, where our rooms were. The elevator was just big enough to get the four of us inside there together, so instead of us all just piling up together, me and Denver decided to head down early while John and Keegan were getting their shoes on. That's when I got a crazy idea.
It's early morning and it's Tuesday for us, and right now I'm heading up to the 8th floor and I'm gonna scare the shit out of my friends here. So let's do it.
You just made me jump.
I didn't even see what happened. I was too busy.
On our second day in Akihabara, Denver had told me that there was this really cool retro game store that I had to check out. And boy, am I glad I came back to check this place out. This place had retro consoles like Nintendo 64s, Super Famicoms, and some Dreamcasts, just to name a few. They even had a Virtual Boy, which was really cool to see up close in person. After we were done taking a look at the awesome gaming stuff that they had at the store, I was delighted to hear that there was another floor with even more gaming stuff. And here's where I would find a bunch of original video game soundtracks from my favorite games that I could buy. Coming from a guy who's always wanted video game OSTs growing up, this was a really cool thing to find.
I'm going to be a sucker for video game soundtracks.
After taking a look at the soundtracks for a few minutes, and also buying a few, Keegan and I had decided that we would head over to another shop where we would find that they had a bunch of anime figures, charms, and even some questionable material.
Oh my.
Anyways, a little while after leaving the anime shop, we made our way back out into the streets and found a really cool shop full of Miku racing gear. I didn't know that Miku was a sponsor for a circuit racing car, but it was really neat to check out all the racing Miku merch and the driving outfits that the drivers used. Leaving the group once again, I decided I wanted to check out this arcade building. And it had a bunch of good arcade games like Daytona, House of the Dead, Time Crisis, and even this cool 8-player Mario Kart setup. Sadly, I never got the time to play any of these amazing arcade games because I was starting to get tired and I was running out of cash. So instead of playing any of the arcade games, I ended up heading back to the Airbnb and resting for a little bit. Day 3 in Tokyo, I had finally set my camera to a proper setting that wouldn't look super choppy, and we planned on heading over to the Tokyo Tower later into the day. We wanted to go late at night as this would be the coolest time to actually be able to go since it was such a hot day. So to kill some time, we checked out some of the local scenery, walked around a few buildings, and also walked to a few shrine locations. A few hours of exploring had gone by, and on our travels, we happened to find this Italian pizza restaurant. Curious, but also sweaty due to the heat, we decided to check it out.
Which one do I want? I don't know which one I want.
After having our delicious meals, a few of us went back to rest and kill some time at the Airbnb. And as I was resting, I happened to find information on a place in Tokyo that just happened to open up a Sega store. Filled with excitement, I grabbed my gear, made sure I had enough yen, and I headed back out onto the streets of Japan. I found myself in another mall area that housed a bunch of floors again, but the floor that I needed to be on was on the 6th floor. And boy, I wasn't ready for all the great stores I would find there. On that floor, they had a Nintendo shop, a Capcom shop, a Pokemon Center, a Godzilla shop, and the shop I was here for, the Sega store, which I couldn't get into until 7 p.m. unless I bought a ticket to go in.
So we can't get inside the Sega stuff at the moment. So we're going to actually take a moment to actually look around as Mr. Godzilla himself starts screaming at us. We're going to be messing around here for a little bit as we do not have tickets to go inside the Sega store, but we will wait until 7 o'clock so that we can do that. So let's go check out the Nintendo stuff and see what kind of cool shenanigans we can find there.
As I walked around the Nintendo store, I found some really nice merch from a bunch of their popular franchises. Sadly, not a lot of F-Zero or Metroid stuff though. But hey, they had a wall of amiibos that, at least for me, are super rare to find. They also had a bunch of really nice Legend of Zelda gear, and they also had this Switch 2 kiosk that allowed you to play Donkey Kong Bonanza, which I didn't get the time to do. I then checked out the Pokemon Center, and dude, they had this life-size Mewtwo model inside a science tube right in front of the Pokemon Center, which was super cool. But when it comes to Pokemon, I'm looking for my boy, my favorite lightning cat from Gen 4, my good old Luxray.
My boy Luxray. I finally found some at the Pokemon Center for him. Look at him, he's so adorable. Luxray, I trust you that you'll take care of this place, okay? You watch over everybody. Okay?
With Luxray watching over all the people in the Pokemon Center, I decided to head up the Capcom and Godzilla shops. The Godzilla store was full of unique merch that I didn't even know about. Like a statue that holds your toothbrushes, Godzilla mugs that open up, and the fact that Godzilla has his own trading card game that also supports English cards. I almost got myself a pack, but I decided against it sadly. Checking out the Capcom store, they had Ace Attorney plushies, Okami merch, I still need to play the first game before the new game comes out, Resident Evil candy that looked like pill bottles, a lot of Monster Hunter merch, I wanted it all so bad, and surprisingly, not a lot of Devil May Cry stuff. I figured they'd have more, but nope. They only had a handful of unique pins, really, of Devil May Cry. With the time finally ticking down to 7 o'clock, I made my way over to the Sega store. There was a line of people I had to get into as they were all wanting to get into the store as well. Within a few minutes, I was inside the store. They had Sonic plushies, they had Sonic figurines, they had Sega sleeping masks and handkerchiefs, which was random but also pretty cool. They even had these awesome standees of most of the Sonic characters. But besides the Sonic stuff, of course they would have their other franchises like Yakuza Like a Dragon merch. I loved this Majima pillow. Persona merch, mostly from 3 and 5, and also Metaphor stuff that I didn't really get to check out as I haven't really played that yet. Bags in hand and running on a bit of a time schedule, I made my way back to the B&B and dropped off all my stuff to get ready to head to Tokyo Tower. Rushing to the tower, we had found out that we could only get tickets to the middle point of the tower as the top of the tower was all sold out sadly. A little bit of a bummer, but I was still excited to go. Making it up to the tower, we had an amazing view of all the lights from Tokyo. seeing all the cars go by, people walking in the streets, and also seeing how truly high we were off the ground. I should also mention that the tower had a couple of shops inside it, and so after we were done checking out the tower, we made our way back down the tower and stopped at a few of the stores.
Guys, should I be getting more things here in Japan? I think the merchandise is telling me I should.
After finally leaving the tower, we made our way back to the B&B and prepared to leave Tokyo in the morning.
So final day in Tokyo here, and I ended up going to the Sega stores and the Capcom stores, and here's the final bits of what I got in Tokyo. It all came in this nice Sega and Sonic bag. I kind of want to keep the bag, not gonna lie. So to continue on with the day, we went to Tokyo Tower. I ended up finding this shop with the guys, and we found a unique kind of store which would have random box items here. One of them being some little squirt shitty thing, little squirt toilet thing, skibidi toilet kind of thing, you know? I'm not really interested in that. What I am interested in is a collectible from Tokyo Tower that is a nice little piece I might give to a friend of mine. This cool little sumo samurai guy, which is really unique as a figurine, so I don't know if I'll keep this or give this as a gift. The Marvel's little keychain thing, all these are being from the random box that we got. A bunch of postcards from Japan, it says here. And the real thing I really kind of wanted from there was the Genshin here, which I kind of want to keep this. But the real things that I got that was not from the random box is in the bag here. What I got is a random monster from Monster Hunter. I could make that open that up eventually, but I'm not going to open up all the way and take it out of the box again. I don't remember what I got though. Yeah, I got one of these guys at the bottom there. I got a second one here. So here's the second one right here. And I think I got this one in here. If not, then I can show it off at a later time. Make sure I got that right. We went to a Capcom shop as well here. That's where I got those Monster Hunter boxes here. But I found a Virgil clip. I'm going to have one for both me and my brother. This kick Sonic fan, which honestly, this helps out a lot. My friends are saying it's going to be over 100 degrees in Kyoto. This is going to be my savior. Unless I lose it, which I always do when it comes to fans like this. I'm going to be pissed if I lose this. This was a cool little box that they had over at the Sega shop here, which has a bunch of candies in here. I don't know what kind of candies they are though. There was a Sega t-shirt here, which I'm excited to try wearing sometime soon, maybe even during the trip. This was pretty cool. It's a Umbrella Corporation Resident Evil candy bottle. So it's literally candy, but it's in the shape of what a pill bottle would look like, and especially for like the Umbrella Corporation. This was kind of unique too. It's a nice little frame figure piece, so I'm gonna find a spot somewhere for this and keep this nice and framed. So the rest of the things I got from the Sega store are mostly small little prints here. So I found one of Amy, I found one of Blaze, found this nice little print of Sonic right there, another nice one of Sonic, and a cover of Sonic Adventure. So yeah, that is all the damage I've done today, and thankfully I should be done when it comes to all the shenanigans that I'm going for when it comes to merchandise and stuff. I've already filled up this bag all the way. This stuff is going to definitely be clustered, so I'm hoping that it all stays properly still in this bag and that it all just randomly fits. So yeah, but as it states, tomorrow we are going to Kyoto and we will be having a fun time taking everything up and moving on over to Kyoto for 6 days, and it's going to be hot.
Packing our bags and making sure we didn't lose anything, we said our goodbyes to Tokyo and hello to Kyoto. In order to get to Kyoto, we would have to take a bullet train all the way there. This was my first time ever being on a bullet train, and I will say, it really didn't feel that fast, but looking outside, we definitely were going over 80 miles per hour at least. A few hours later, we hopped off the bullet train and then hopped onto the subway trains that would take us all the way to our next B&B that we would stay in for most of the week. The location we were staying in was pretty nice. It had an upstairs floor that was pretty much set up like the first floors with a nice little kitchen area, a couch with a TV that we barely even used, and a bedroom where our floor mats were nicely rolled up for us. I will also say that the floor mats weren't super bad, they just really weren't that well padded for at least me and John. So we ended up finding out that the couch could recline, and John ended up taking the recliner, while I would end up taking his mat and throwing it underneath mine. And Denver and Keegan were pretty much doing the same thing up on the second floor. So that was just kind of how we ended up sleeping for those days. Once we dropped our stuff off, we made our way to a little shopping mall that also held an arcade inside that Denver wanted us to check out. We made our way up to the arcade area where they had this really cool Dragon Ball game that you needed cards for. They also had this really cool Pokemon game that you needed cards for. This virtual horse racing game that might have needed cards for. And also this really cool Gundam looking game that you needed cards for. So since I didn't really have any of the game cards for the machines, I sadly had to pass on these machines here. But I would still love to play one of these if I ever got the chance again. Also, I ended up finding this guy. There was also plenty of claw machines at the arcade as well. Pretty much any arcade in Japan would have a bunch of claw machines, and usually the claw machines would have figurines or little plushies in them. But in this place, I was surprised to see daily household items inside. This was also where I won a Yoshi coin bag that I would use for my train card and my paper yen. I forgot to mention it earlier, but using the subway trains in Japan was honestly super fun and easy to use. Mostly. Yeah, I may have taken the wrong train on the first day I was on my own, but the fact is that you could use a train card like this, fill it up with cash, and then just scan it through a toll, go onto a train, all with ease. And with the fact that the stations were all clean and properly secure, I'd felt both comfortable on the rides and safe all throughout the time I was using the trains. Not gonna lie, if I ever live in Tokyo or Kyoto, I will sell my car and use trains for the rest of my life. It was that good to me, and I think that that is so much better than a car. The next day we decided to make the long trip up Fushimi Inari, a place well known for its shrines and the many red gates along its path. The hike was fun, but the weather was not on our side.
It is hot today. It is 100 degrees Fahrenheit here, and just enjoying the nice walk through the gates and enjoying the summer as much as I can with my Sonic fan here trying to keep me cool. So I managed to catch up with the group. They're up ahead of me, but I also got this towel because it is sweating out here. It is beautifully hot, but you can't beat that view. We are almost to the shrine. It's right up there. I've been walking for God knows how long on this mountain, so I'm not sure if I ever actually truly made it to the top of the shrine, but to the top of the mountain. But I think I took a wrong turn and am now going the wrong direction. So I did pass by the top of the shrine, of the mountain. Oh my.
After the long trip up Fushimi Inari, we rested up for a bit and then decided to head out to a Round 1 arcade, where me and John ended up pouring some of our yen to win a Nikkei figurine for Denver. But he ended up giving it to Keegan, as the character we won was one of Keegan's favorite characters. I then got to play one of my favorite all-time rhythm games, Dance Dance Revolution, even though I don't consider myself good at it. Though it was really cool to see that Megalovania was the song that you could dance to. I also ran into this cool looking Fate arcade game that I know my friends in Canada would love. This is a game that also needed cards to play, so I still to this day have not played a single Fate game. We finished up the rest of our time at the Round 1 by playing a unique foosball game where Keegan would end up winning, and another rhythm game that honestly was super fun to play. I don't remember the name of it though. Though I wish I saw this game more in the States, as I'd love to play more of this and get better at it. I had broken off from the group and was able to find this one store that was allowing you to play demo games on the Nintendo Switch 2.
So got to try out the Switch 2's Mario Kart World, and I don't know all the things that make it unique yet right now. I only did like the Rush version, but I did enjoy it. I almost got blue shelled at the end and got second place, but I thankfully was in the lead so far ahead from the CPU that I ended up winning. So first place win in Mario Kart World, and I don't even own the game.
For the next day, the guys had made their way to more shrines, while I would go explore a samurai ninja museum. The museum was full of history talking about how Japan was governed, while also telling stories of famous warriors and historical battles. The museum also showcased some of the weapons that samurais would also wield. Near the end of the tour, they had this little throwing area where you could throw these plastic ninja stars at some of the targets. I did pretty good on my first throw, but I could barely hit any of the targets after my first. Though I was glad that I was making it on the board. I also got to put on this fake samurai outfit looking like the wackiest modern day samurai ever. And then after I was done at the museum, I had planned to go get some Japanese ceremonial tea that was also near the area that I was in. But sadly I had to make a reservation to get inside. So after making a reservation for 5 o'clock, and having to find something to do, I decided to kill some time by exploring a little mall location. This mall location had some pretty good chicken thighs that I ended up having for lunch, and some Oreo churro ice cream that I'd have for my dessert. I also got some footage of this crow trying to make his way into the ice cream shop. After having a little bit of dessert, I also ran into a card shop where I would end up picking up a Luxray card for 50 yen. Needing to kill some more time, I would then find this place where I was able to pet owls and cats. And I'm not kidding, guys. This really ended up getting to me. Thinking about my cat who I had to put down a few years ago, walking into this cat location was a little difficult for me, but also very therapeutic, as I had missed the cute cuddles of a cat relaxing next to me.
So I just got done at the cat petting area. I mean, I could have gone to see owls, but I didn't because I miss Linda. And that's great.
Finally killing enough time, I made my way back to the tea location and got ready for my reservation. Inside here, I had to change out in some fancy Japanese robes for the ceremony, and honestly, I thought I looked great in them. Even though someone told me that having a big gut means that I have a big spirit, which I wasn't thinking about at all. And come on, don't I look good in this? With my new robes on, I sat down with my group and we all made tea together. I couldn't really record any of the actual ceremony because they didn't allow video recordings, but I did have a couple of pictures of the ceremony. I have a few extra seconds of video that I ended up making into just photos. So that's about all I have. Anything else I have of the ceremony, I had sadly lost during the transfer on the GoPro. So sadly, I don't have a whole lot of the ceremony itself, but here's a couple of the seconds of the actual ceremony going on. The experience of making tea was so fun learning, and also learning the ways in which you show respect to the house inviting you for tea was a really cool thing to learn as well. I'd seen many different kinds of media showcasing ceremonial tea before, but to actually watch the process of how tea was made and the importance of the history of ceremonial tea helped me understand a lot more of why tea was so important back in the day. After having tea, I decided to hit up McDonald's, as I had heard that they had some awesome foods that we in the States didn't have, like this teriyaki chicken burger. I then ended up picking up a figurine and a Kingdom Hearts cup before heading out to a bar that was themed around video games. I loved being at this bar, as the bartenders were very passionate about video games, and so me and many of the people at the bar got to nerd out about our favorite franchises all the time. You could also play board games with the bartenders sometimes as well. After a very fun night at the bar, something I really don't end up doing a whole lot at the States, I ended up going back to the Airbnb, and prepared for the next day. On our third morning in Kyoto, we had made it to another shopping area where there was more Kingdom Hearts and Final Fantasy stuff that I had almost got, but was starting to run out of vacation money. We also ended up coming back to the Round 1 arcade to play some more of the games that we ended up missing last time. Like this wacky rhythm game that had Miku as an avatar, and a House of the Dead Scarlet Dawn cabinet that I was finally able to beat thanks to my buddy Denver. We really didn't end up doing too much this day, as the place we really wanted to go to needed a reservation, so we were exploring more of the area that I had been in yesterday, so it was just kind of a filler day. After finishing up the day, I was able to grab a few more video game soundtracks like this 30-year-old anniversary of Super Mario, Nier Automata, and this Pokemon Red and Green soundtrack. Having to find ways to kill some time, the next day I decided to hit up more areas in Kyoto to find more video game soundtracks. As I was exploring, I came across a store that had so many great games ranging from many different consoles, like the original Final Fantasies on PlayStation 1, Resident Evil known as Biohazard in Japan, and also Metal Gear Solid 2 for PlayStation 2. I didn't end up getting any of these games sadly for the fact that on consoles, mostly retro consoles, video games are region locked. Say if I had a game like Metal Gear Solid 4, a game I would love to have in my collection, and a game I ended up seeing in Japan, but I ended up not getting, of course. All because I couldn't play it on a PS3 if I had a PS3 that was an American version. Note that I said if I had an American PS3. I don't even have a PS3 in general. I don't know, maybe one day if I ever go back, I'll end up getting that, alongside Pepsi Man for the PlayStation 1 with a PlayStation 1 from Japan as well. Finally, after getting to the store I wanted to check out, I ended up finding a section of video game soundtracks full of so many bangers like Silent Hill 2, Metal Gear Solid 5, Metal Gear Rising vocal tracks, and so many more. I bet you see a few games here that you might have played. With it getting close to our reservation time, we headed down to a samurai dojo to get some hands-on experience with swords and look damn fine in our outfits.
Okay, right back, defense, head cut, front, chase, charge, push, sword up, sword down, middle, chili, yes. Oh yes, good job.
With us knowing the ways of the sword, I stopped by a few more shops and got some more figurines from a few animes that I honestly don't know besides this one that I got myself into. This character's from Uma Musume, an anime that turns real-life Japanese horses from Japan's racing scene into anime girls that pretty much do the same thing. It sounds weird, but that's anime for you. This series also has a video game attached to it, which I might be playing as I'm editing this video.
Come on, team. We got this, team.
Hey, get back to the video.
Oh, my bad.
Anywho, for our final day in Kyoto, we decided to head up an aquarium. We got to see a bunch of unique sea creatures like this giant salamander, a few seals that were super energetic, mostly, a few penguins, some garden eels,
So adorable. I don't think I've actually ever seen these.
and a bunch of jellyfish tanks that showed the age of the jellyfish and what stage they were in during their life cycles. Honestly, this was super pretty just to see and get footage of. After a little under the sea show, I decided to drop off my camera and pack a little lighter, as me, Keegan, and John had decided that we'd hit up a nightclub. I've never been to a nightclub before, and for our final day in Kyoto, we wanted to end it with a bang. So me and the guys were dancing, had a few drinks, and eventually made our way back to the B&B after a while. With it also being late, me and John would have to end up walking back home as the trains do not operate after midnight. So me and John would end up walking back home, while Keegan would end up staying the whole entire night until 5 o'clock in the morning when the trains came back online. I have to say this, me and John literally took an hour walking back home while Keegan ended up staying the whole entire night to just take the trains back home for an 18-minute ride. Lucky Somewhat tired from last night, we packed up our stuff and made our tracks to Matsuyama, in which we would have to take a train over the ocean to get to, as Matsuyama was located on another island in Japan. This was one of the places Denver ended up living in during his time in Japan, and Matsuyama is also well known for its history too. So we decided to make Matsuyama our final location to explore in Japan. There was also one other reason why we came here, but I'll explain more about that later. After settling into our B&B, this was the only footage I have of the place sadly, we first made our way to a curry udon store, where they were actually holding a Monster Hunter collaboration at the same time. We were able to pick up some of these cute Monster Hunter coasters after leaving. We then explored a bit of a mall area where we would end up playing some more gachapons, some racing games, and end up checking out some other fancy stores. The next day, Denver and Keegan had gone off on their own little adventure while John would take the day to rest up. So I was exploring on my own that day. What I ended up doing was walking all the way up to the gardens of Matsuyama Castle, checking out a bunch of the beautiful scenery, learning about the grounds a little bit, all while having some very vibrant fish come close to me and say hi. After relaxing at the garden for a bit, I made my long trip up the hill to Matsuyama Castle. And while the trip was hot, the castle was one of the most beautiful places I've ever got to experience. The castle also held a few historical items like shields, swords, daily castle items, and weirdly this Demon Slayer promo. Serious question to Demon Slayer fans out there, why would Demon Slayer have a promo inside an actual historical castle? Is Matsuyama Castle where the new movie takes place in, or does the anime have a bunch of episodes featuring Matsuyama Castle? Please, I need to know this. Also, a little side note here. Inside the castle, I was able to make one of my own coins here. I was able to put my gamer tag here, but I don't know how well you see it, but it's pretty cool that I could get my own little castle coin here, and it had my own little gamer tag here. After my trip around the castle, I had started heading back down the hill and had stumbled upon a chair ride that took me all the way back down the bottom of the hill. And let me just say, it definitely beat the hell out of walking back down the hill. I then headed down to a claw machine to see if I could win a Kirby plush for my roommate, but sadly couldn't get one for him. I did end up winning this Monster Hunter Palico for him. The very next day, the guys and I had headed over to another shopping area, but this place focused itself around oranges. See, besides the castle, Matsuyama also prides itself on the freshness of its oranges and the different kinds of oranges you can have, like orange juice, jello, slices, and even some dango flavors. Oranges are so popular in Matsuyama that they actually have their own mascot focused around oranges, and also so much merchandise focused around him and the city itself. Also, while we were in that shopping area, this little girl and her mom had stopped me and were trying to ask me a couple questions in English about my trip through Japan so far. It was for school, and it was still super cute and adorable, just this little kid asking me questions and trying to learn English. So I'm glad I was able to help out throughout that time, and it was really cute to see. She also made me this origami that I sadly lost on the way back home. I felt so bad losing it, but I also was worried that it would be damaged either way. It's also very funny because before the girl ended up stopping me, I was talking to the guys and saying that I wanted to get origami, but I didn't want it to be destroyed in my suitcase. But then minutes later, I ended up getting an origami, which was honestly super sweet and still very ironic that it happened. For our final day in Japan, the guys and I decided that we would head up an activities building that had a bunch of arcade games and also show off our skills in bowling. We don't usually bowl like professionals, nor do we actually hit past 150 points. But damn did we try to. And of course, it was always the one pin that would get in our way all the time. After winning bowling, that's me by the way, I'm Nums. We then hit up a karaoke room where we ended up having some food, get some drinks, and got to sing till we were ready to go. That was the best karaoke room experience I had the whole trip. We had gone to a bunch of other karaoke bars during the trip, but most of the time we were having a hard time finding songs that we wanted to sing. But this place made it easy to find songs in English while also having a bunch of different anime and video game songs to choose from. One of them I was really happy to sing was Devil Trigger from Devil May Cry. Frustration is getting bigger. Bang, bang, bang. Oh my devil trigger. We then decided to play a little bit of darts. The location had these enclosed rooms where we would be able to throw our darts safely inside, and accurately showed our scores while weirdly recording our throws. Creepy. Keegan would end up mopping the floor against us in darts, and with us feeling ready to head out, we had hit the streets once more. This is where I would find a retro game store that had so many great titles inside as well. I was honestly super tempted to buy a lot of these things inside, but it was honestly super cool to see these amazing games on a shelf, and that they all looked well taken care of. I also ended up finding a copy of Silent Hill 3, a game that I want in my collection so bad, but because of the region lock issue, I sadly had to put it back on the shelf. One day I swear I'll get these games. One day! Thankfully, this ended up killing enough time for us to start heading over to our favorite place in Matsuyama. You might have noticed that I hadn't been saying a whole lot about our nights in Matsuyama. And that's because I wanted to save this part for the end. Every night, the boys and I would end up coming to this bar known as the Moonglow Piano and Jazz Bar, where we always met the barkeeper known as Sensei, and he would welcome us all with open arms every time. Sensei's bar has some of the most amazing drinks I had ever tasted, and the food was so good too. There was one night where Sensei would make us pizza, all because he wanted to, and it was the first pizza I ever had that had corn as a topping. And you know what? It's pretty good. Sensei would always come over and have conversations with us all the time. He'd share some of his experience with us while talking about life in Japan and the things that he got to do throughout his life. He was also very talented with instruments, as he would play music for the people at the bar all the time. If you wanted to join into a song that he was playing, Sensei would give you an instrument or a mic and let you show your talents to the whole bar. Heck, a lot of famous singers and instrumentalists would come in all the time and play for the bar, all because they just wanted to. One night when Sensei closed his bar, he decided to come with us to get some extra drinks together. He brought us to this place that had okonomiyaki and also served Japanese beer, probably the best beer I've ever actually had, and it was such an amazing time. Sensei to me and all the guys felt like a close family member that was always happy to entertain while happy to just see you once again. My first time seeing Sensei was when Denver and Keegan had walked in and pretty much walked in like it was a family reunion. It was so wholesome to see. The piano bar and the people running the bar were the best part of Matsuyama, and I can see why the guys really wanted to come and see him. One day I'd like to go and see him again and thank him for such a great time, and for me personally, the best experience I've ever had at a bar. And with that, our 2 weeks in Japan gone within a moment. This was such a great experience to go on, and to fly to another country, to learn about the culture, to see a lot of my favorite franchises, and to be with some of my closest friends throughout the adventure. I'm gonna miss the subway trains. I'm gonna miss the piano bar with Sensei. I'll especially miss the food from Japan. But if you were to ask me if I would change anything from this trip, I'd tell you that I got to explore Japan with some of my closest friends in the world, all while having the biggest smile on my face during the whole trip. So for me, I wouldn't change it for the world. Hey guys, I don't have any kind of part of the script here for the ending of this, but I just wanted to say that if you guys watched all the way through here, I also do video game stuff here on my Twitch side. I stream all the time there. I don't make videos like this often, but I really just wanted to make a video talking about the whole entire trip to Japan and make a special video for all my friends and family members for them, but but also making a video for the public to showcase a little bit of my skills in video editing. Definitely help out if you liked and shared the video. Subscribe to the channel, as I also do some other kind of shenanigans. I do want to upload a video of Sonic the Hedgehog and Magic the Gathering stuff. I also do want to do some more of my Let's Talk About series once again, but I have to find a game that I'd love to talk about, so keep an eye out for that. But also, like I said, I do have a Twitch channel, and I also have a VODs channel of all my things I do on Twitch, so if you want to check those out, they're in the description down below, and they are also on the screen here. Thank you again so much for stopping by. Hope you guys have a fantastic night, day, wherever you guys are, and I'll catch you guys next time.